Sup guys, my name is Courtney Budson and this is What's for Din. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make my version of a white chicken chili. Now the reason I say it's my version is because there's so many different versions of chili out there. There's really no right or wrong way to make chili. Now I love this recipe because it's super easy to make, it's absolutely delicious, and it has that creamy texture without using sour cream or heavy cream. Now if you wanted to, you could definitely add those ingredients to this recipe and it would take it up a notch. But really, it doesn't need it. It's awesome on its own. So without further ado, let's get over to the stove and get cooking. So I have a heavy bottom pan here and I have it over a medium-high heat. And I wanna get the pan really hot because what we're gonna do is brown up some chicken. So into this pan, I'm gonna add some olive oil. And now I have two different types of chicken here. I have boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and I also have boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Now I wanted to show you that you can use both. I actually like to use both because I like how moist the dark meat is, but I also like to incorporate some big chunky pieces of breast meat. So I already went ahead and seasoned these with a little bit of chili powder, some cumin, some cayenne pepper, and of course salt and pepper on both sides. So what we're gonna do in my hot pan, we just wanna brown these on both sides. We're not looking to cook them through, because if you cook them all the way through and then add them to the chili, then they're just gonna be overcooked. Chicken thighs are nice and browned. I don't want them to cook all the way through, so I'm just gonna remove them and put them on a plate for now. Because my pan's not big enough, I have to cook my chicken breasts separately. So you can see all those brown bits in the bottom of the pan. That is good flavor, and that's what makes this chili even more delicious. So into that, we're going to add some jalapenos, some poblano peppers, and some onion. Gonna season that with salt and pepper. And as you can see, as soon as I add that, it starts to deglaze the bottom of the pan. And it will deglaze a lot more later on when we add some liquid. But all I'm looking to do is cook these until they're nice and softened, so about 5 to 8 minutes. Now, if you're worried about it being too spicy, you can leave out the jalapenos. Now, the poblano pepper, that ends up being a little bit more sweet, so it adds a sweetness to this. Now, if you do use jalapenos, just make sure you take out the seeds because that adds a lot of heat. Unless you want a lot of heat, I would take them out. I always take them out. So my veggies have softened up quite a bit. And into that, I'm going to add some minced garlic. I really feel like no chili is complete unless it has a ton of garlic in it. And I'm also going to add all my spices at this point because it just helps bring them alive. I have some chili powder, some cayenne pepper, some ground cumin, and a little bit of oregano. So we're just going to add that in. Oh, you can just smell it. If only you could smell this. Someone needs to invent smell-o-vision. So we're just going to cook this about 2 minutes until that garlic is nice and fragrant. So no chili is complete unless it's a little bit thick. So in order to do that, I'm going to add some flour. And this is going to be kind of like making a roux. Well, it is making a roux. And I'm just going to stir this up really well. We're going to cook this about 2 minutes so that flour taste cooks out. So make sure you're stirring constantly so nothing burns to the bottom of the pan. 2 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next step. So at this point, I'm going to switch over to my whisk. Into that, I'm going to add some chicken broth. And I'm just going to take my whisk and whisk that all together so there's no lumps. Now because my chicken broth is cold, it's going to stop the cooking process and ensure that there's going to be no lumps from the flour. So now the next thing we're going to add are some fire roasted tomatoes. Now this is a can of fire roasted tomatoes. What I did was I drained the excess liquid from them. I really feel like the chili needed something extra. When I only made it with beans and chicken, it just wasn't enough for me. And this keeps it a white chicken chili, but it adds a little bit of oomph to it. And I'm also adding my cannellini beans at this point. Give it a good stir. Look how pretty that looks already. Woo! So we just want to bring this up to a simmer, and in the meantime, we can start chopping up our chicken. We can go ahead and add in our chopped chicken and all of the juices that accumulated at the bottom of the pan. That's good flavor, so don't forget to add that in too. So once it comes up to a simmer, you just want to let it simmer on very low heat for about 45 minutes or until it thickens up, and that chicken's all the way cooked through and your house just smells magnificent. Mine already does and it hasn't even simmered yet. So I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done. Here is the final product. Look how thick and just delicious that looks. And I like to top it with either some parsley or a little bit of green onion. I'm feeling like a little green onion today, so that's what I'm using. Woo, that's good. It's amazing how creamy this is without using any heavy cream or sour cream. If you want, you can put a little bit of Monterey cheddar on the top. I won't judge you, but it really doesn't need it because it's so creamy on its own. So if you guys want to recreate this recipe, just look below in the description box. I have all the measurements listed as well as the written instructions. And if you did like this video, don't forget to smash that like button. And also, if you haven't already seen my latest vlog, that just popped up over here, don't forget to check it out on my second channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching and all your loving support, and we'll see you next time. Peace.